Hello, and welcome to the official demo of the LSU Go application. My name is Joshua Koenig, and I'm joined on camera by Javier Rodriguez and Jesse Hobson. My fellow developers and I wanted to provide an overview of the development iterations concerning the LSU Go application supported by Android. We also wanted to provide a use case driven demo of our application later in the video. But first, let's get to learn more about each individual developer. Hello, my name is Joshua Koenig. My primary contributions to the LSU Go application are as follows. I assisted in the app's ideological conception. I served as the project manager managing our over 20 sanctioned meetings involving several unofficial virtual meetings over video conference software such as Skype. I managed project timeline and continuity. I assisted in implementation and modeling phases as necessary. Under the implementation phase, I worked hand in hand with Javier, writing actual executable software. And I also served as the test engineer of the multiple versions of the application. I assisted in ensuring the logical continuity of the implementation, as well as facilitated succinct communication of ideas and information between group members, while driving project development to meet every external deadline. I also helped to ensure that every project meeting was beneficial to each group member and their understanding of the project's current iteration. Recognizing that each project version developed using a unified process can yield evolution, we as a project team never lost sight of our original vision, which was to create an auxiliary tour guide service application program catered to incoming students and personnel that are unfamiliar with LSU's beautiful campus. We set out to develop a descriptive, dynamic, and interactive thoroughfare through which the user could create his or her own personal tour or select from a pre-made list of tours. Market analysis supported project feasibility. Under further market analysis, we found that the official LSU GPS-enabled application, LSU Maps, failed to provide our pivotal feature, tour creation, and interactivity instead of a purely navigation-motivated app. We as a project team recognized the need for a tour service application to provide supplementary landmark description text as well. The supplementary text is created to provide a more educational experience for the user.
Hi, my name is Jesse Hobson. My major contributions to the LSU Go application include assisting in early to late model development phases, assuming a major driving voice in the application's logical architecture model, pushing for research and development of the application centered around Android Java UI and GPS template utilization, and organizing maintenance of UML model diagrams using Google Docs, and advocating for the employment of the Android Studio IDE for implementation and version control. The architecture of this application is centered around landmarks. Each individual landmark includes a picture of the landmark, a description of the landmark, and the GPS coordinates. The LSU Go application's creation feature prompts the user to select 4 landmarks so that later we can visit each of them sequentially. I will now discuss the risky features and use cases of our application. For one, we as developers, our central risk feature involved the implementation of the GPS feature in the application. This required us to request the use of Google Maps, which we weren't entirely sure if we were going to be able to do. Another risky feature, one that was actually cut from the app, would be P2P connections. Our app's original intention was to connect to tour guides and tourists and share information between the two. However, with each iteration we found P2P connections to be unreliable, and it eventually was cut from the app.
My name is Javier Rodriguez. My major contribution to the LSU Go application was to serve as the lead coding and implementation engineer. We utilized an Azure pair programming strategy to develop the application incremental iterations. Our software testing plan was modeled around one of the tenets of agile methodologies. Always keep a shippable product. Furthermore, our testing was feedback oriented. After each iteration, we always ask ourselves, would this work? Can we apply this to the real world?
We presented our early access version, version 0.8 of the app, to Michael Moore, a current LSU student associated with student government and LSU campus life under the student-run organization Leadership LSU. The project team received a statement from him following a full walkthrough demo of the application. He said, and I quote, "This application is a better and more immersive way to experience LSU's campus. I think this app will help prospective students feel a better connection to the campus before they start in the fall."
Welcome to the demo portion of the LSU Go app. On screen, you can observe the main activity layout for the application.
The main activity layout adopts a relative format, meaning that each feature on the screen will be presented in the same location independent of the device screen size.
The title bar contains the app's name. We configured a JPEG image of Mike the Tiger as the main activity layout's background and placed a button that links the main activity layout to the application's core feature layout.
At the time of clicking on the Welcome button, the app presents the user a toast, tying the user to the core feature layout and enhancing the logical flow of the app.
The user now will arrive at the core feature layout. Presented at the top of the screen, the user will observe a layout fragment sized at 341 by 300 pixels, placed in a linear arrangement.
As an aside, due to our agile pair programming strategy, we as a project team decided to tackle this GPS fragment implementation first.
In order to enable the app to access a smartphone location, we configure the app to ask first for the user permission. On the case of the previous one is denied, the app will not locate the location of the user.
As the eye follows the form of the screen, the user will find that the app prompts them with a button view to either create their own tour or to select from a list of pre-made tours.
At this point in its logical continuity, the app initiates use case branching. The two major use cases take shape: following the user's created tour or following the path of the recommended tour.
First, the project team and I will discuss the use case centered around our tour creation core feature.
After selecting the Create option, a layout with a list created by the development team is displayed. The list is made of a header and rows. The header indicates what the list is about, and the rows indicate the possible options. Each row presents a notable picture of the landmark and its name. The list is scrollable as long as the elements go.
Going through the list, the user is able to select the 4 landmarks they want on the tour. These 4 landmarks constitute a tour. At the selection of each landmark, such as Middleton Library, the application brings up the information page of the landmark, which is scrollable. Trying to select the same landmark returns a message to the user that the landmark has already been selected. In the top left corner of the information screen, there is a Google Maps GPS feature that shows a landmark location. Clicking on the pin in the center creates a dialog to direct the user to the landmark. The user then uses the device's back button to return to the landmark screen. After 3 more landmarks, the tour is completed, and the application brings you back to the core feature layout.
Beginning from the core feature layout, The user can follow the path of the second major use case by pressing the Choose button. The user will be presented with the options to choose two pre-made tours. Regardless of user choice, the tour will proceed in a similar manner as the primary use case. The only difference is that the landmarks are laid out in a sequential order accessed by the device's back button. This concludes the LSU Go application's demo.
Thank you for your time.
Enjoy touring LSU's campus with the LSU Go application.